Today on Bridge City News, some Liberal Party MPs want to eject Jody Wilson-Raybould from caucus after she released a secretly recorded phone call of her conversation with Michael Wernick about the SNC Lavalin affair. Donald Trump says he isn't kidding about possibly shutting down the U.S.-Mexican border next week if illegal immigration isn't halted. And the opening ceremonies for the World Men's Curling Championships kicked off the event in Lethbridge today. Good afternoon. I'm Paul Arthur with a weekend edition of Bridge City News. The opening ceremonies took place at noon today for the Pioneer Hybrid World Men's Curling Championships at the Lethbridge NMAC Centre. It is a feather in the cap for Lethbridge, with the event drawing in fans from around the world, as well as local curling enthusiasts and volunteers.
Well, we've got a partnership, a very unique partnership with Curling Canada, where they run one of our major World Championships events in Canada every year. And so as part of that agreement, they find host cities within Canada to run those events. Lethbridge was one that they brought forward, and we've had a really good track record with bringing events to Lethbridge, the volunteer capacity, the venue, the welcome that we received from the people. So it was a really good fit for us.
Canada is scheduled to play 2 games today, taking on South Korea and then Russia. The Lethbridge City and Baby Trade Show drew in crowds of people today to find the necessary and not so necessary items for moms and babies.
We focus on all things mom and baby, from clothing to support services to home decor. We just want to bring everything together in one space so you can shop local and see all the cool things that we have to offer here in Lethbridge. We have sponsors as well as the vendors themselves helps pay for the event so that it can be free to shoppers so they can just come and enjoy and see what we have here.
Barron says the free event usually draws in about 1,000 people. The Park Run movement made its debut in Lethbridge at Henderson Lake Park this morning. Park Run started in the UK 15 years ago and has since expanded to countries around the globe. It's a free, volunteer-based 5K run or walk aimed at getting people of all ages, abilities, and fitness levels outside to enjoy local park space on Saturday mornings. A social gathering usually follows the event. You can check out the website at parkrun.ca/Henderson Lake. The 15th annual Woods Homes Children's Benefit Gala gets underway at 6:30 tonight at the Lethbridge Coast Hotel. The event includes dinner, live and silent auctions, and music by the Chevelles. Woods Homes serves at-risk children and their families in Lethbridge, providing crisis and counseling services, short-term stays, and live-in treatment programs to prepare teens for independent living. 4 out of 6 Lethbridge West candidates participated in the Southern Alberta Council on Public Affairs provincial election forum last night. UCP candidate Kerry Flatla and Freedom Conservative Party candidate Trevor Morton were both absent. Much of the debate focused on the budget and Alberta's growing debt. Pat Chiswick announced the Alberta Liberals' proposal to instate a 13% harmonized sales tax. However, along with that, the plan would be to reduce personal income tax, with Albertans paying no tax on the first $57,250 of income, which would double for couples, allowing the first $114,500 to be tax-free. And some of Alberta's party leaders will face off in an election debate on Thursday. Invitations have gone out to UCP leader Jason Kenney, Alberta Liberal leader David Kahn, Alberta Party leader Stephen Mandel, and NDP leader Rachel Notley. Freedom Conservative Party leader Derek Fildebrandt is not happy, though, that he didn't get invited, saying it's grossly undemocratic. His fringe party has promised to pass laws giving Albertans the right to carry guns when hiking in wilderness areas and not to wear motorcycle helmets. Thursday's debate will be broadcast live on TV, online, and on some radio stations. Motorists in Manitoba and Saskatchewan are being reminded to fill up their gas tanks this weekend. The Canadian Taxpayers Federation says on Monday, people in both provinces will be subject to the federal carbon tax. The Federation estimates the new tax will add more than 4 cents to the price of each liter of gasoline. Diesel prices are expected to rise by more than 6 cents per liter. Saskatchewan has asked the courts to rule the tax unconstitutional, but there hasn't been a decision yet. A convicted sex offender is back behind bars following an outcry from a Toronto area community that protested her arrival. Peel Regional Police say Madeline Harks, who was previously known as Matthew Harks, was arrested on Friday. It's not clear why Harks' long-term supervision order was suspended, and the Correctional Service of Canada said it couldn't comment on a specific case. A spokeswoman says a warrant of suspension can be issued if there is an indication an offender's risk in the community cannot be effectively managed. A 17-minute recording of a phone call and its transcript have taken center stage in the SNC Lavalin political drama. Former Attorney General Jody Wilson-Raybould secretly recorded the December call because she feared her conversation with Michael Wernick, then clerk of the Privy Council, would cross ethical lines. During the call, she repeatedly tells him that it would be inappropriate for her to intervene in the SNC fraud and bribery case. Wernick is heard saying, "Trudeau was very firm. I think he is going to find a way to get it done one way or another." So far, Wernick has declined to comment. There are growing calls from Liberal Party MPs to eject Wilson-Raybould from caucus over this issue. Trade Minister Jim Carr and Agriculture Minister Marie-Claude Bibeau were in Saskatoon yesterday to meet with farmers and Saskatchewan officials worried about China's decision not to accept Canadian canola shipments. Saskatchewan has asked Ottawa to give producers more financial help as they deal with the effects of this dispute. Meanwhile, Conservative MPs on the House of Commons Agriculture Committee failed in their attempt to persuade the Liberal majority to compel the cabinet ministers to testify.
I think we'll work with the clerk and we'll invite various industry representatives, including, I think it's important to hear from producers themselves, not just representatives from associations. So we'll see who will be available. I will recall, and you will recall, that the motion is dated April 5th, so hopefully we can have good witnesses to come before our committee.
We're not asking for anything political here. We're actually just asking for information and transparency to give our producers a chance and an opportunity to have as much information in front of them before they make their final planting decisions. We also want to know what the future holds for markets outside in China for other products. And if they had a plan, they wouldn't hesitate to come before committee and tell us what that plan is. But it's obvious to us now they don't have a plan. It's obvious the fact is that they're in Saskatchewan trying to figure it out, that it's been now 3-4 weeks going on, and they haven't taken this issue seriously. And it's going to be now farmers who are going to pay for their inaction. It'll be farmers that'll pay for Justin Trudeau's lack of positive foreign policy.
U.S. President Donald Trump has repeatedly threatened to shut down the Mexican border, but this time he says he's not kidding around. Trump says he will take action next week unless Mexican authorities immediately halt all illegal immigration.
But Mexico is going to have to do something, otherwise I'm closing the border. I'll just close the border. And with a deficit like we have with Mexico and have had for many years, closing the border will be a profit-making operation. When you close the border, also, you will stop a lot of the drugs from coming in, because we take in tremendous drugs from Mexico, as you know, as well as I do. So you close up the border and you watch the drugs go way down, too. But I will close the border if Mexico doesn't get with it, if Mexico doesn't stop it. And you see what's happening to women, you see what's happening to children. It's a horrible situation, and Mexico could stop it right at their southern border. They have a southern border, and they have a border that could be very well structured. It's very easy for them to stop people from coming up, and they don't choose to do it. Well, we're not going to give them hundreds of billions of dollars and tell them that they're not going to use their strong immigration laws to help the United States. So there's a very good likelihood that I'll be closing the border next week.
The U.S. State Department has also announced the Trump administration is cutting direct aid to El Salvador, Guatemala, and Honduras, the three countries that are the central source of migrants to the U.S. Meanwhile, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce says shutting down the border would be an unmitigated economic debacle that would threaten 5 million American jobs. The Sun newspaper is reporting some hardline Conservative Party MPs have written to Prime Minister Theresa May, insisting that she not agree to a Brexit extension beyond May 22nd. That would force the UK to take part in that week's European Parliament elections. The newspaper says the letter signed by 170 members of May's party calls on the Prime Minister to bring her deal back to Parliament for a fourth vote, with a threat of a general election if it is rejected again. Crowds of Palestinians gathered today along the Israeli border fence ahead of a planned mass rally to mark 1 year of weekly protests in the Gaza Strip. Some protesters started approaching the barrier, prompting Israeli forces to respond with tear gas and live fire. Gaza's health ministry says a 17-year-old Palestinian boy wounded in the face by Israeli fire has died, marking the third fatality today. Protesters say they will continue their weekly protests. One of the latest opinion polls out in advance of tomorrow's presidential election in Ukraine puts support for incumbent Petro Poroshenko at just 13.7%. A comedian who's never held political office topped the poll with 20.9% support. That is far short of what's necessary to win in the first round. There are 39 candidates on the ballot. Landmarks around the world, including Taiwan's tallest building, are going dark for an hour at 8:30 local time tonight for Earth Hour. In Hong Kong, more than 3,000 corporations signed up for Earth Hour 2019. The event is a call for global action on climate change, with a specific focus this year on conserving nature and biodiversity. Recapping one of our top news stories, there are growing calls from Liberal Party MPs to eject Jody Wilson-Raybould from caucus after she released a secretly recorded phone call of her conversation with Michael Wernick about the SNC Lavalin affair. And a look at weekend weather. Clear skies tonight with a low near -2. For tomorrow, a mix of sun and cloud and a high of 9 degrees. The federal carbon tax has been difficult for some Alberta businesses. Up next, Hal Roberts chats with a senior fellow at the Fraser Institute who shares details of a new paper entitled Carbon Pricing in Alberta. But first, here's a look at what's happening in and around your community.
Here's your Bridge City News community calendar. Come for a special celebration event called Gideon's Banquet on Friday, April 12th, beginning at 6:30 p.m. at My Victory Lethbridge, hosted by the Gideon's Lethbridge chapter. Enjoy an evening of delicious food, fellowship, live music featuring Carlin Fair and family, plus see a special screening of the powerful documentary, The Samson Project. Tickets are $25 each, and to purchase, contact Bill at 403-328-4244. If you're looking for a new-to-you bike, come out to the Lethbridge Bike Swap at Exhibition Park's North Pavilion on Saturday, April 27th. Sell, buy, or donate a bike. Admission is $2 for adults, and kids 12 and under are free. Bikes can be dropped off at 9 a.m. Find all kinds of used bikes that are refurbished or can be purchased as is. For more information, visit albertabikeswap.ca. And that's your Bridge City News community calendar.